Hi, thank you for coming by Yarn again. This is Teresa. I am working on the Parisian tile. I'm trying to flatten it out. These little flowers like to bump. I don't know why I have the one with the tail showing for you. I did make all 8 of these. I got all 8 of them done. Finally, I'll explain why in a second. I'm trying to get the one with the tail tucked in. There we go. So, I had 6 out of the 8 done like this. All of these little knobby things, excuse me, fans were on, but I had made a mistake in 3 or 4 of them, I forget, that I, instead of putting them on this little point, I put them here because I was not paying attention. So I had to rip all of that out. Luckily, I was able to put them back on without having to recut yarn because I was nervous about recutting the yarn and then not having enough for the rest of the blanket. So luckily, when I ripped all 4 of those out, I think it was 4. When I ripped all 4 of those out, 3 or 4, whatever it was, when I ripped those out, I was like, no, you got to reuse the same yarn, and yeah, it's going to be tight in spots, but you don't want to run out for the rest of the blanket. So I did get to this part this week. As I said, I was going to try to get to that white bit right there. I didn't, as you can see. You're intelligent people. You can see. I didn't because I had to rip it out. And then a lot of stuff in life happened, and yeah. Let's hope, because look at that. That looks pretty easy, right? It looks like just a chain around my fan here, and then another chain, not a chain, but a single crochet. That looks like another single crochet. Look at that. I should be able to whip that out, no problem, depending on, what happens in life. These colors are pretty. I think they're supposed to be these colors. I have it on a white background, so maybe that's why it's brighter. But, yeah. That's my tiles. Oh, excuse me. And I have the 8 of these. I did not work on the small ones. I got frustrated with this when I was having to pull it out. And then, oh, get this. I almost forgot to tell you. So I was putting these things back on, right? With my pre-cut yarn, right? So it has to go gold, rose, gold, rose. So the genius that I am went rose, gold, gold. So guess who had to take another one out? Luckily, I caught it on the first one. If I didn't catch it on the first one, I would have been mega too tired. That's probably what it is, because I do get up at 4 in the morning. And I maybe should have taken a nap that day. But I got them done. And that's the good thing. See, life is good. I got them done. I did not put them nicely. I like to have the little fan. Anyway, they're done. I just have a few edges to tuck in. I have 4 of them done with the edges tucked in. I mean, the tails, the most favorite part of crocheting. We have to tuck them in. And I don't like to keep them too long on a kit because I don't know if they give you enough to have them twice this long so you can use a needle. I use a really, really fine crochet hook because for this project, I am using my Furls hook that my son gave me. An H. I don't know the name of this Furls. I just say it's pretty because that's what it is to me. That's the hook I'm using to make this. And then I'm using... No, it's not. It should be the hook I'm using. I don't know why I used a metal one. Then I'm using this one, a 3.25, to pull the tails through. That's the one I'm using to pull the tails through, because there's like, you can see it's an antique one. I get them at my mom's stuff or I got them at a yard sale or something. There we go. See, the hook is like not sharp or anything. And as you know, on some hooks, you can get that sharp bit right on the cap, the lid of that, the top of that. And yeah, so I also am doing, let me put my hook back. There we go. And I'm also doing the granny squares. Remember I had the 32 granny squares? If you haven't seen that video, go on back to my thingy and find that video. If nothing else, it might make you think, oh boy, she's nuts, or laugh. Hopefully you get the latter. But I've got the 13 that I was doing that were bigger. I got 4 left to do with adding this triple crochet there to make it bigger, quicker. That's what I did. And then I'm going to connect them when I have them all done. I'm going to connect them. Then I'm going to get a border on it. I might use a yellow for the border. And when I get them all done and bordered, wash them, package it, and figure out who's going to get it. But I don't know. Either the church will get it or I don't know. I honestly don't know where else to bring it because the hospitals around here are real tight of who comes in and you can't drop stuff off and yada yada yada. So, you know, church might be able to do something with it. So that's what I've been working on for throws. I know I was supposed to be working on the Sophies. Yeah, that didn't work either. Not this week. Life got in the way and, you know, medical things came up again. I'm a chronically ill person, so, like, it's not a big deal when I say medical stuff came up. It's just another day. So, don't get concerned or anything. I'm cool. I just, you know, they just got in the way. Some days they get in the way, some days it doesn't get in the way. And this week it just happened to get in the way. I'm trying to cut this through the camera so I don't cut the doohickey there. I want to get that white cut. I did that one time. I opened a package one day, and my son's standing there going, "Ma, what are you using scissors for? You got yarn in that package." I was being Mrs. Oh, I'm cool. It's all good. I can do it without ripping it and cutting the yarn. Guess who cut the yarn? Hi, that would be me. I cut the yarn. And not only did I cut the first layer of yarn, it went through 4 layers of the yarn. It's usable. So it's all good. Some of these have the bigger ones on. These have been sitting around for like when did Scott Christopher started creative craftings with SC. This is Scott Christopher, or SC as I call him. He started crocheting in October, so these have been around my house since August when I picked up the hooks again. Because I was making greeting cards, which I have a order I've got to get done. But I stopped doing that and found myself, well, why don't you crochet? And then I found the beautiful community of the crocheting world that's on the YouTube streets. And been having fun ever since. So, trying to get stuff done and trying to challenge myself, because before October, when I started doing the YouTube on November, whatever it was, I only did granny squares. That's all I ever did. Was like, this is the basic granny square. My mom did granny square blankets like this. She either did them like this. She took 2 small ones, put them together, and made a granny square quilt or an afghan for the bed. And this is how I grew up. This is what I did at 5 years old. We were learning how to do granny squares. Probably, in my case, octagons or something that wasn't a square, but she was encouraging and always made me feel like I did a good job. May she rest in peace. But, you know, and then when you're doing granny squares all the time, you get comfortable. So I got comfortable, and that's all I ever did. So I had yarn, I got granny squares. Then I got the Centrero, you know, the knitting machine-y thing. And I was making hats, because I donate hats to the church. And I watched a bag o' day and learned how to do a hat. Then I watched somebody else, I forget who, did the spiral hat, and I did that hat. And long story short, my machine broke. I've said that before, but it's still broken. It spits the yarn back out. My son took it apart, put it back together, and it's still broken. So, when it's still broken, it's just annoying to use, and when you have to crochet a hat, it takes longer, and I feel guilty. It's taken me so slow. So you battle these things, and then you come back with the let's get this done, because I promised I'd have it done faster than this, and it's not as fast, so I do apologize. But I got it to this point, and this is an achievement after I had to pull it all out and yell at myself a few minutes and realize that you don't put it on this part. You put it on this part. Because the instructions are written probably really well for the experienced crocheter. But like I said, I only did these granny squares my whole life. And I made granny square scarves, just, back and forth using the granny stitch. That's all I ever did. And I think I made a scarf using a pattern once. Yeah, it was once. And, I did the chain stitch where you connect it to make netting, to make a grocery bag. But most 90% of the other stuff was granny squares. This is what I do. This is what I'm comfortable with. So when I switched over to this, this is different. That's why I did it, because it's a challenge. And when I joined the YouTube streets, I was like, yeah, I got to challenge myself. That's why I'm doing the challenge with Coco Crochets. I'll link her down below. She's always linked down below. And I'm doing the cow with her, the Sydney, Australia calendar cow, in 6 months instead of a year. It's about my attention span. And I started doing different things, and I'm really enjoying this, and I'm enjoying the YouTube people, because I think the YouTube crochet group is in the streets out there are the nicest bunch of people, nicest bunch of people. So if you haven't gone to the people that are in my description, swing on by and let them know that, you're looking for a nice place to hang out and you enjoy their videos, because the thumbs up on their channels really does help. And the sharing and subscribing makes a big difference as well. If you haven't done that to my channel, I would appreciate it very much. I know I'm a newbie out here, and I also know that they're not the bestest videos in the world, but I'll get there. And if you grow with me, and we will have a great time. And if you want to try out the people down below, I'd appreciate that too. Just give us a thumbs up, subscribe to us, and have a great day. Thank you for coming.